Tendai Mwari. Alright, sisters and brothers. Tendai Mwari, sisters and brothers. My name is Sister Kai Awagadao Bandaka. I'm a member of the Al-Kebele Revivalist Movement and the Central Organizing Committee as it stands presently. We're looking at towards a National African People's Parliament. It's a document, everyone should have this document. I don't know if everybody's got a document, but if you haven't got a document and you're standing, maybe somebody can share and pass it to those, so at least everybody has at least sight of the document. This was drafted by one of the Central Organizing Committee members, Sister Lorna Campbell. Yes, we should have issued her apologies. She's not in the country at the moment. Okay. Not this Lorna Campbell, another Lorna Campbell. Right. I'm not going to read through it verbatim, brothers and sisters. I'm just going to do a brief synopsis, and if you follow through with me, this is for you to take home. If you're not able to receive a copy today, you can go on the website. It is established. Is it on the website already, or will be?
It will be.
It will be put up on the website, so you will have an opportunity to read it from there or download it. All the documentations, if it's not already on the website, will be put on the website. And if you continue, you know, a weekly basis or every 2 weeks to check the website, then you will you will find new documents, information. So when you come to these general assemblies, you will be more informed before you arrive. The web address is www.africanpeoplesparliament.org. That's www.africanpeoplesparliament.org. Okay. Now, as it says here from point 1, the subheading background. As you know, that this year marked the 30-year celebration, observance of the New Cross Fire. The New Cross Fire, which took place on the 18th of January in 2001, where 13 of our young people was burned in a fire. So what did I say? Sorry. Okay, sorry. 1981. I don't know what I'm reading from here. Incorrect information there, sorry. It's 1981, 30 years on, 2011, but there you go. Good thing some of you can add up. The New Cross Fire investigation became a point of contention between the state and the community, our community. And brothers and sisters, to date, we have not had a substantive response to who killed our children. Not just killed 13 children in the fire and 14 year after, and blighted the lives of many. Nobody has been arrested or imprisoned for this injustice that we faced in 1981. Out of that, a Black People's Day of Action was called for the 2nd of March, where, like today, many community gatherings were being organized in London, all the regions that we've heard today and more, and where we decided that we were not going to accept the conditions that we were living in, that attack was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And Africans, over 25,000 Africans, took to the streets for what was called then the Black People's Day of Action, the 2nd of March. This year we commemorated it on the 2nd of March, 30 years on, as a commemoration for the fact that we are still suffering these injustices, in commemoration of the lives that have been lost, whether through the New Cross Fire, the Black Deaths in Custody. We recognize the uprisings in Brixton, Tottenham, Toxteth, Bristol, St. Paul's and all over, Liverpool, Manchester. We use this time, brothers and sisters, to analyze how far have we gone forward or have we gone back? The march took place, commenced from the Pagnell Street Community Centre. I can't remember what it's called now.
It's Pagnell Street.
All right. Okay. It used to be the Moonshot Club. It's Pagnell Street now. That's correct. And we proceeded on to Lewisham Police Station, and via 439, where the house where our children was massacred, and then we proceeded for a community gathering, very much like this, where over 350 of our brothers and sisters attended, were in the march or the conference, and it was agreed there that we need to establish an African national parliament for our people. Once we had that consensus, brothers and sisters put themselves forward to be part of an organizing committee. That organizing committee was the same one that organized for the Black People's Day of Action, and it's that committee that has been carrying it thus far. And as I said, we are going to go into what we are going to now try to reinstitute in this process. Let's go over to page 3. It said the National African People's Parliament will be the framework for nation building on the principles of self-reliance and self-determination, building a positive future for African people and posterity. As I said, I'm not going to read everything verbatim, brothers and sisters, so we're going to move forward. To page 4, the National African Plan, African People's Parliament Action Plan, milestones and goals. Following on from the successes of the Black People's Day of Action, we have called a number of meetings, and we agreed, as it was agreed by members of the African community, that throughout 2011 they are to have a series of consultative community meetings where various ideas have been made in relation to establishing the National African People's Parliament, and this is part of the process, what we call the General Assemblies. This is a second General Assembly. Plans involving new technological communication methods are being developed to ensure there are regional participation at all levels in developing plans for the National African People's Parliament. The consultation process. The National African People's Parliament Central Organising Committee has listened to recommendations made at community meetings that have called for a consultation paper outlining plans to consult and seek endorsement of a constitutional and democratically based National African People's Parliament. 4. The draft consultation paper will provide the framework for the National African People's Parliament, setting out aims and objectives, structures, officers and roles, membership, elections and voting rights, internal governance, legal and constitutional status, relationships with external bodies, financial management. Stakeholders, engagement and involvement. A list of Africans. One of the things that we're suggesting through this process is that a list of African-led organizations, including churches, are being identified as stakeholders who should be invited to participate in the consultation process. The consultation paper should be sent out for community amendments by September 2011. The consultation paper should be for a period of, the consultation process should be for a period of 3 months. Page 5. The consultation paper should be redrafted to take into account amendments that can be incorporated into the final draft, and the final draft with incorporated amendments should be circulated for a second consultation period no later than the 31st of December 2011. The final consultation paper will form the basis for debate as a major priority and activity as one of the activities that will take place on the second Black People's Day of Action that will take place on the 2nd of March 2012. When we receive the draft, please read and pass on a copy to any interested parties for comment. Skills audit, community support and engagement. The National African People's Parliament is for the benefit of African Black people in the UK. There are many Africans within our community that have an abundance of skills that can help to develop and reach our objective to establish this Parliament. It is important, therefore, that everyone who has a skill that can help to establish the NAPP. You can volunteer your skills to help establish the Parliament and to arrange next year's National Black People's Day of Action. In order to fulfill the aims of the community engagement, the National African People's Central Organizing Committee has identified there are a number of skills that are vital to achieving this. We need administrative and communication skills, publicity, media, legal, constitutional skills, finance, fundraising, and organizational skills. Communications. An effective communication strategy is key to raising awareness and building support for the establishment of the National African People's Parliament. The more African people support the more African people that support the objective, the stronger the movement will become and facilitate a consensus to endorse the establishment of the Parliament. The communications team will be responsible for developing and sending out key messages about the NAPP. Page 6. Various forms of media will be used to deliver the message. The community has a number of people who have campaigning skills. The communications team will be formed of two components, publicity and marketing. If you have marketing and publicity skills and would like to be part of the communications team, please express your interest by completing the skills audit. National African People's Parliament Constitution. In order to obtain legal status, it is imperative that a constitution is drafted. There are members within our community who have the necessary skills and experience to help to draft the constitution. It would be a much appreciated if people who have the requisite skills and are able to draft the NAPP constitution volunteer their services by completing the skills audit. Fundraising. Independent finances will be crucial to building a sustainable National African People's Parliament. Fundraising team is in the process of being set up. People who would like to be part of this team should express their interest. The funds are required to pay for the venue and any other ancillary costs associated with the day, for example, publicity, postage and packaging. The way forward. Community meetings will continue as the involvement of community members is important to increase awareness and support of the NAPP. Everyone has an important part to play. Encourage anyone you know to attend the meetings. When the consultation paper is published, respond, comment and amend where necessary and endorse the general principles. Attend all community meetings to help plan for the next Black People's Day of Action that will be used to endorse the consultation paper and set out the parameters for the inaugural meeting of the National African People's Parliament. Rise, you mighty people, for you can accomplish whatever you will. The National African People's Parliament will be at the heart of African nation building. That focus on African Black self-determination to empower African people to reclaim their rightful place amongst the powerful. Tendai Mwani. Tendai Mwani. I'm going to hand over to Brother Leader Mandako, who will proceed with the recommendations. You have the recommendations on your chair, or should you? And we'll take some questions and comments afterwards.
Okay, the recommendations document is a document that looks like this. It's got the date at the top, the 27th of the 7th, 2011.
Brothers and sisters, if you haven't got a recommendation document, please raise your hand, please. That's our whole of our people. Okay. Have you got enough?
Okay, I've got some more here. Okay, here. There you go. All right, we're going to make sure you get a copy, so bear with us. There you go, take that one. If possible, those of you who can, please share for now. Raise your hand so that we can try and get you a copy of the recommendations, because you do need to be following it through as we are going through this process. So keep your hands raised. If we don't get to give everyone a copy, please make sure the person you're next to lets share. Also, do people have a copy? We also need you to be looking at the interim structure, this chart, same principle. Can you share with the person next to you, or make sure that you are able to see a copy of this document, because you will need it as we go through this next stage of our agenda. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're trying to keep your hands up who haven't got a copy of the structure. We've just got a few extra copies we're going to try and make sure you can get sight of. Please make sure you are near somebody who does have a copy of the document. We are glad so many of you have come, but I don't know if we have all copies of the documentation for everybody. So we are happy you are here, but do be patient with us. So make sure you are next to somebody who does have a copy of the documentation. Are we ready to proceed? Thank you, Brother Leader. Okay. Thank you for reminding us. Yes, those of you who have come in, we do really require you to be signing in. We do need this information. For everybody to have come in, to have signed in and given some designation, we do need this information for security purposes. We also need it in terms of accountability, who is here, health and safety. So we do need you to make sure you sign in. The signing in table is at the back. And also some people, I don't know what it is with us. We don't like signing anything too official. This is documentation that is just for this process. It's not going to be given to anyone. This was an issue at the last meeting where many people did not sign in. We do need to have some form of record of who is here in the room. So please, if you have come here, then obviously that you have come for a reason, make sure you sign in. Okay, if it's difficult for you to get at the back, can you please raise your hand if you have not signed in, and we will make sure that we can bring a signing in sheet to you. Thank you.
Africa. To the God of Africa be the glory. We give thanks and praises unto Mwari Nyakusika, God, the creator of the universe, and Muzimamokuro, our great ancestors, for this awesome gathering here this afternoon. I can feel the power of expectation. I can feel the power of determination oozing from our brothers and sisters gathered strong here this afternoon. Am I correct? Yes. In saying that we have come out this afternoon because we are serious about building the National African People's Parliament? Yeah. Am I correct, brothers and sisters? Yes. Well, let me hear your African voices. Yes. Am I correct, brothers and sisters? Yes. What about the young people? Yep. Anyone 30 and under, can you stand? And if you're standing already, raise your hands. 30 and under. Stand up if you're 30 and under. I'm already standing, so you know my age. This is our future. And we have already heard from our young people that they have great expectation and that they mean business. One of our young persons even said she is fed up of the present status quo. Come on. It is our responsibility, elders, to lay the foundation, and it is the young people's responsibility to stand firm on the foundation that we have laid and carry forward for the next generation. But we have to lay that foundation. I'm going to ask us all to put our hands and hearts together and heal all our young people in the room. Yeah. Thank you very much. Please sit down. Just very quickly, brothers and sisters, it is important that we understand why we are here and why we are in this process. And Sister Kai, in surmising that excellent document that was drafted drafted by Sister Lorna Campbell to help to take us forward, reminded us of how the Black People's Day of Action came about. But we were quite determined that we did not want an event, an occasion that was just given to remembrance for the sake of remembrance. We didn't just want commemoration for the sake of commemoration and to wallow in the woes of the past. We wanted something that we could breathe life into the present and into the future. And so we had a motto. If you remember, brothers and sisters, our running theme, our motto for the Black People's Day of Action 30th anniversary was commemorate, evaluate, organize to liberate. Commemorate, evaluate, organize to liberate. So yes, we were going to look back, because the people without knowledge of their past, their history, their origin and culture is like a tree without roots. They will wither and die. So we were going to look back, but we were not going to be perpetually suspended into looking in the past. We were going to look into the present and evaluate where we have come. So in commemorating the 30th anniversary of the National Black People's Day of Action, we ask the question, this, the most powerful day as we recognize in the history of Black Britain, our presence here in the UK, 25,000 of our people came out onto the streets to protest against injustice, against inequalities, against oppression. But what did we do with that energy? What did we do with that tremendous potential that we demonstrated on that day? And we came to the conclusion that whatever we did, it was not enough. And therefore, 30 years on, we are still facing the same maladies and even more that resulted in the massacre, the worst tragedy in the history of African presence in Britain. Or the recent history of the African presence. Are you all with me, brothers and sisters? So we said we've got to correct that mistake from 30 years ago. 30 years on, we're asking, what went wrong? Why are we still here? And we decided, you know, that if we allow our children to come back here 30 years from now, asking the same questions, we will be doomed to hell and eternal damnation if we let that happen. And we decided we are under no circumstance are we going to take that legacy into the future. Under no circumstance will we allow our children to come back 30 years from now asking, where did we go wrong? That's why we're here today, brothers and sisters. You all with me? So with that backdrop, because we mean business, let me get into the business. All right? All of the process from the beginning to the present is well documented. We've made sure of that. Because we're sons and daughters of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He wrote everything down. Everything was put on record. So everything from the get-go, from the drum, is recorded. And it is accessible, or will be accessible, on www.blackpeoplesdayofaction.org or www.africanpeoplesparliament.org. Everything. Every one of the meetings we've had have been minuted. Central Organizing Committee meetings, community meetings, all have been minuted and all have been endorsed as an accurate record of previous meetings. Is everybody with me? Yeah. So anyone wants to know the background, you can always go to the website and update yourself. In addition to which, I am also working on a report that will cover the period, a progress report, that will cover the period from January 2011 to July 2011. That will summarize how we have developed and where we are presently. So let me move quickly, brothers and sisters, into the recommendations. And as a backdrop, I just want to utter some words of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Messiah Garvey, who built for us the greatest, most powerful and impacting liberation organization ever in the history of our people. And it is on his shoulder that we stand as we move towards building a national African People's Parliament. And he says, when he traveled the world, he saw, one moment, brothers and sisters, Tendai Mari. He says, I never knew that there was so much color prejudice in Jamaica, my native home, until I started the work of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The daily papers wrote me up with big headlines and told of my movement, but nobody wanted to be a Negro. Garvey's crazy. He's lost his head. Is that the use he's going to make of his experience and his intelligence? Papa Garvey was right where we are now. I had to decide whether to please my friends and become one of the black whites of Jamaica and be reasonably prosperous, or come out openly and help to defend and improve the integrity, listen brothers and sisters, and protect the integrity of the black millions and suffer. I decided, he says, to do the latter. He says, I started to take an interest in the politics of my country. And then I saw the injustices done to my race because it was black. I went traveling to South and Central America to find out if it was so elsewhere. And I found the same situation. I sailed for Europe and again found the same stumbling block. You are black. I read of the conditions in America. I read Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington, and then my doom of being a race leader dawned upon me in London after I traveled through almost half of Europe. He's looking for the answer. He's looking for the answer. After traveling half of Europe, I asked, where is the black man and woman's government? Where are their queens and kings and kingdoms? Where are their presidents? Their countries, their ambassadors, their armies, their navies, their men and women of big affairs? He said, I saw none. And then I decided, I will help produce it. I will help to make it. It starts with me. Not with my brother, not with the next door neighbor, not with the man down the road. It starts with me. Me. You all with me? Every single one of us sitting here, it is our equal responsibility to build the black people, the National African People's Parliament. And if it doesn't happen, who is to be blamed? Me. Not you, me. Everyone should be saying that. And if we all take that responsibility, think of where we will be in 5 years from now, and 10 years from now, and 20 years from now, and 30 years from now. And our children will be singing our praises and pouring libation to us and dancing joyously we have moved beyond this life. So let's take the document to hand now, brothers and sisters, and move quickly through it so we can have a discussion. The National African People's Parliament. We only put black in brackets, so, you know, African people who feel them now African, we have, let them feel comfortable, you know, black. Oh yeah, it's me, it's me, it's me. Yeah. All right? Just in case, you know, miss some of us that we are African. We're the only people on the planet that have that problem. Okay. Now, that first paragraph I will not read, brothers and sisters. You can read it for yourself. But it's just giving you the background to these recommendations. Suffice to say that there will be a report available in a couple of weeks from now for which these recommendations will be attached. Is everybody clear about that? And these are the recommendations further to the outline that we had from Sister Kahi. And these are the recommendations that we are being charged or proposing to take forward. One, that we adopt the forward plan submitted by Sister Lorna Campbell of the Central Organizing Committee, that which was presented by Sister Kahi just now, and seek to implement it forthwith, subject to further consultation and any necessary amendments. So that is to say that nothing in the document is cast in stone. Okay? This is a consultation process, and everything is subject to the outcome of the consultation process. The word democratic has been used. Some of us don't like that word. I certainly don't like it. I don't use it except just for communication purposes. We like the word communiocratic. That word democratic, a Southern African elder taught me that that word is stained with the blood of our people. Look at the word, the way the European, Euro-America uses the word democracy to justify all kinds of evil. So I'm moving that we discard that word and use the word communiocratic, because that defines our African concept. Let me move quickly. Number two, that we expand the present Central Organizing Committee. And remember, the Central Organizing Committee was primarily established to organize and execute the Black People's Day of Action 30th anniversary commemoration. We've been carrying the program since, but we need now to revamp. So we expand the present Central Organizing Committee to include at least 2 or 3 representatives from each out of London region. Example, Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, Buckinghamshire, Oxfordshire, Bradford, Nottingham, Leeds, etc. Well, Nottingham and Leeds are in Yorkshire. We know that will come under one. Sorry? So not Nottingham, I meant Bradford. Bradford, I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. Tell them where. I'm not from my country anyway, man. Come through with land, mash up with language, mash up with country, mash up everything. Draw a new border. Nottingham and Leeds is in Yorkshire. And the 2 of them in London. Right or wrong? Right. Come, me say so. 3, that the reconstructed Central Organizing Committee be known as the Interim National Organizing Committee and be charged to provide the national leadership, some will be afraid of that word, in moving forward and executing the plans to A, formally establish the National African People's Parliament, and B, commemorate the 31st anniversary of the Black People's Day of Action, remembering that in the process of organizing the 30th anniversary of Black People's Day of Action, we decided to name it and claim it as a national public holiday for African people. We decided that in this room. And that was endorsed again at the conference that we had at the 30th anniversary commemoration. We're defining ourselves, defining time, space, and circumstance for ourselves. We're daring to. Number 4, that the interim, we'll soon go international, that the interim National Organizing Committee should be established and endorsed by the National Assembly of the 30th of July, that's this one, to serve as the central organizing body towards formally establishing the National African People's Parliament. 5, that the new interim National Organizing Committee meet at the earliest possible time to consolidate itself and agree a plan of action. 6, that the representatives from each region call a community meeting as soon as possible to update the community on the progress thus far towards establishing the National African People's Parliament. B, encourage individuals and organizations to sign up to the National African People's Parliament. C, form a regional interim organizing committee to promote and develop the interests of the initiatives of the National African People's Parliament within their respective regions in close consultation with the interim National Organizing Committee. 7, that the main emphasis at this juncture, nationally and regionally, be A, raising public awareness. B, mobilizing mass active community involvement. Let me say it again. Raising public awareness. All of us have that responsibility to raise public awareness about the Parliament. And B, mobilizing mass active, keyword, active community involvement. Another key word. Active involvement from each and every one of us. C, communication and consultation at every level, ensuring that every willing party has a voice and a stake in the decision-making process. Is everybody clear about that? Yeah. And we all have to take responsibility for that. Every single one of us. 8, that the interim National Organizing Committee will draw on the skills, qualifications, and experiences available to establish the following interim central and regional subcommittees, respectively. A, admin and communication. B, publicity and promotion. C, legal and constitutional. And D, financial and fundraising. That's when it gets really interesting. Financial and fundraising. Lock the door, please. I'll say it again. Financial and fundraising. Everybody lost them wallet and them purse now. I'm only joking, brothers and sisters. And 9, that the interim National Organizing Committee will draw on the skills and experiences of the African community, legal, political, organizational, etc., to establish a constitutional commission to draft a proposed constitution for the National African People's Parliament to be finalized subject to the consultation process outlined in Sister Lorna Campbell's proposed forward plan. See diagram attached, proposed interim structure. Now, bear in mind, this is a proposed interim structure. And this is what it looks like. Basically, the structure that was outlined just now, this is what it looks like diagrammatically. We have the interim National Organizing Committee, 2 or 3 representatives at least from each region. The size of that committee, obviously, will depend on the number of regions. Is that right, brothers and sisters? Okay? And then the interim regional organizing committee of 6 to 15 persons from each region. Obviously, the size of these regional committees will be determined by the workload that will be required in that particular region at any given time. Is everybody with me? Then we have present regions. These are the present regions on board. We have Buckinghamshire, Nottingham, Oxfordshire. We will know Leeds and Yorkshire. Yorkshire is catered for there. London, HQ, there is headquarters. Okay, we're proposing that the headquarters be in London for what appears to us to be obvious reasons. Birmingham, Manchester, Bristol, and Yorkshire. So if we put Leeds in the Yorkshire box, then we can just put the word other in the Leeds box, because we expect and we intend that other regions will come on board. Once these regions get up and moving, the spirit, the knowledge, the information will spiral, it will mushroom around the other regions, and we know that the other regions will be stepping forward to join us in this work. Brothers and sisters, in closing, I just want to quote the Osache for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who says to us, if a national movement is to succeed, every man and woman of goodwill must be allowed to play their part. If a national movement is to succeed, every man and woman of goodwill must be allowed to play their part. There's another caveat to that. When you are allowed to play your part, then you must play your part. So there is the question of being allowed to play your part, but when you are given that opportunity to play your part, make sure that you take responsibility to play your part. Unite, organize now or perish. Rise you, mighty African people, for you can accomplish whatever you will. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters.